Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. This video is part of the series Karma and Astrology. I have already done part 1 to 6. In case you have not seen it, I suggest that you first watch them. And the subtopic for this episode is proving karma using astrology. So before we get on with the topic, let's understand karma itself. There are people who believe that there is no karma, and there are people who believe in karma. And those who believe in karma, all of them do not believe in astrology. When one person asks another person, why is this happening to me? Why me? What will be the answer of a person who does not believe in karma? Suppose a poor man in a slum house is going to ask the same question, why me? Why am I born in such difficult situations? Then somebody has to give him the answer, and those who do not believe in karma will say it just happened, so please don't ask any questions. But of course they will always give you the answer that you have the whole world in front of you. Even though you are born in a slum house, you need to work hard, and somehow you can become rich. So there are people who will say that events happen in life just out of randomness, like the dice, you throw the dice and some number comes in random, and so randomly a person was born into a rich family or a poor family, so there is nothing else to it, and after that it is up to him or her to make it up in life. So this is another way of answering the same question, but all this sounds very illogical, because it will now appear as though God allows these things to happen in randomness. Just things happen without a reason. Whereas in life we see that if somebody comes up to the top, he has a past behind him, that he had worked very hard. Nobody becomes randomly a Olympic gold medalist or a very successful businessman. There is a lot of effort involved in reaching a particular spot. Nobody reaches the Mount Everest just out of randomness. It just happened. You're not going to accept those kind of statements. So you can easily understand that there is a cause and effect in this world. So it is very difficult for us to accept that things are happening just out of randomness. The other point is that you can always say that God placed you in this situation just to test you out, and so therefore he made sure that some people were born physically challenged, and he wanted to see how they will survive in this world, and he also wanted to see whether the rich men are taking care of the physically challenged people or the extremely poor people, and that is a test for them. This is what I get as a reply from people when I ask them why the differences without karma theory. Then they will say that it is because of God, and God did this, and God is the ultimate power in this world, and he decides where a person is born, and whatever happens in life is decided only by him and not by us. So this kind of a God looks like a faulty God, because even amongst human beings who make who are manufacturers, you will find that they will never intentionally make things differently, as though let's say they make 100 mobile phones or 1 million mobile phones, and they will definitely make everything equal. They will not say that this will out of 1 lakh of this brand, 10,000 I will intentionally make it not work, and the differences will not happen. Even if we conduct a race, we keep all the people on the same line to begin with. We don't give them different situations for each person. So we cannot imagine a God to be unjust and puts us in some of us in the slum house, and some of us in palaces which will be like 5-star hotels. We know for sure God will not do, because God is always considered the merciful. And there's also the problem about some religions where they say that God will give you heaven or hell based on some performance. So for example, in a particular religion they say that if you do everything properly, then you will go to heaven and you will be given a lot of facilities. So or if you have done these faults, then I will push you to hell, where you will suffer for a life, for eternity. So even here you see that something is being given even by God based on your past. So when you are born even on earth, this should have been the same thing, that you are given this place itself based on a past. So we see the interlink between the past and the future, and if we are able to predict the future, then it means that there is karma. In a few days from now, the chess world championship is going to happen, and it will be played between Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana. And if you ask me or ask any chess player who will win the tournament, it's very easy to say that it will be Magnus Carlsen, even though upsets are possible, but in all probabilities it will be Magnus Carlsen. We are not using any astrology here, we are just using an example because Magnus has been doing wonderfully well and his past is very good, and it is based on that we are predicting this. So whenever we make a successful prediction, it is only because we know something about that person before. If I ask you, is it going to rain, you will have to look up at the sky and then make your conclusions, because last time it rained there were dark clouds, and so you will be expecting the dark clouds to be there, and then if you see the dark clouds you will say yes, most probably it is going to rain, and so a prediction is only based on previous experiences. So your horoscope, like what I have mentioned in episode 1, is like your mark sheet which was given after you finished a particular maybe you finished a 9th standard and you gone to 10th standard, and so you have a mark sheet with you, and this mark sheet is similar to your horoscope which you get because you did something good and bad in your past life. You have been evaluated according to that, and the mark sheet has been produced, and based on this mark sheet and these qualifications you enter into the next level, the next life. So if you want to join a job, the interviewer will ask you, where are the the old records, I want to see it, because based upon that he will come to know a great deal about you. Though there is a lot of chances for you to actually, you can tell him, see, don't look at my past because maybe in the past I was like this, but now I have improved a great deal, so don't go by my 10th standard mark sheet or my 12th standard mark sheet, because after that I gained a lot of experience. Why don't you give me a chance? So actually the horoscope can go wrong to some extent, because after you've taken birth, you may have done a lot of things to change what is there in your chart. And karma is basically a habit that you formed in your past life. You are this particular type, and based on a type we get the result. For example, look at the combinations as listed by Maharishi Parashara in Brihat Parashara Horashastra. He says, if the Lagna Lord is in the 8th house, the person will be a very angry person. Mahakrodhi, he says. Or 4th Lord in the 6th house also he says Krodhi. Now look at all these combinations. The Lagna Lord, which is I, it is in the 8th house, means 6, 8 and 12 are bad houses, but 8th is more about shortcuts, and so people having the Lagna Lord in the 8th always look for shortcuts, and that's the reason why they have tendencies to gamble. So if you look at people who are gambling, they'll always be short tempered. You can't see a patient man who's also a gambler. So you'll always notice that there is the because when they lose the game, they'll get very wild and they get angry with the other person. So 4th Lord in the 6th house. 4th is what? Domestic happiness. 6th house is enemies. So wherever you have to be comfortable, you won't be comfortable. You will be fighting. You will be fighting inside your home. So you have these characters in your past life, and based upon that the same habits will continue into the current life. So people did not understand how based on our past life the current horoscope is coming to us. So here we have the answer given by Sri Yukteswar, the guru of Paramahamsa Yogananda, who said, based on our karma we take birth at an appropriate time, a time when the planetary positions will reveal our karma, not that the planets are the cause of karma or whatever is happening to our life, and only to look at karma we have to use our horoscope. Suppose there is no astrology at all, how do we prove karma? There is actually no way to prove. There are several cases of yogis able to predict future, and they are able to see life in a very different angle, but for the lay person they can't have access to this kind of knowledge what the yogi possess, but it is very easy for them to possess the knowledge of astrology because they have their own horoscope, and with their horoscope they can easily find out. Now how do we relate karma to our horoscope? So here is the way. So what you do is, you learn the basics of astrology, at least the basic rules, because astrology is a very, they say it's like a vast ocean, but you can always swim a little bit inside the ocean, not that you can't swim at all. So you learn the basics, like your basic chart, the first house, second house, third house. Get a simple book on what is the first house mean, second house mean, and look at some information on the planets, and then you start learning your own horoscope before you go to an astrologer, because when the astrologer tells you certain things, you need to also know that it is taken only from your own horoscope. Now, if a prediction is made about the 5th house to a person, and let's say there is Putra dosha in the horoscope, so let's do an example right now to see what the astrologer might say to a client in case this particular pattern is. Let's take the example of ascendant over here, and which is Cancer ascendant, and let's introduce Rahu in the 5th house. Now this is the 5th house. This is the house of children. Rahu is debilitated here. Whenever planets are debilitated, it's in a very angry state, very bad mood, and so this Rahu in the 5th will hurt more than any other type of Rahu in the 5th, because you can have ascendant here and Rahu here, you can have ascendant here and Rahu here. So this is a very different type, and for this sage Bhrigu says there will be loss of children or problems associated with children, and for this the remedy is do a Naga Pratishtha, an installation of a snake idol. The lord of this house is Mars. So Mars in this horoscope is here. Now this is the house number 12. Anyway, Maharshi Parashara has said that if the 5th lord sits in the 12th house, there will be loss of children. So you have one more reason why there is a problem here, and then suppose you join Saturn here. Now you have another situation where Saturn is also the lord of the 7th and the 8th, but Mars, the lord of the 5th, is afflicted by Saturn. When a child is born having this combination, an astrologer can easily tell the parents that your child is having a very serious Putra dosha, and therefore there will be a lot of concerns relating to children, and then the astrologer can say that whenever you get this child, when he is an adult and you want him to be married, you get him married to a person having the opposite of this. That means that person has great amount of Putra Bhagya, and in the meantime let him do adoption like remedy, which means he will always go regularly to an orphanage and take care of orphan children. How do we know that this idea works? Now Maharshi Parashara says that if you have the 5th lord in the 12th, the person will adopt a child. Actually, when he says adopt a child, he is not predicting that the person will adopt a child. If you do a research on this kind of horoscopes, you will not find that they always have adopted a child. They would have gone to doctors, infertility specialists and all that, and finally given up. They have not actually adopted a child. But if you don't adopt a child, what happens is they will have serious problems in their karma, because whatever is here will carry forward to the next life. And so when Maharshi Parashara says you will adopt a child, is not that they will automatically do it. It was a recommendation given by Maharshi Parashara to change their future and make sure that the problem does not continue into the next life. With examples like this, you can always say that astrology is primarily to be used for proving karma, and then also for doing the remedies. When people ask me why do I have my 5th house severely afflicted like this, I tell them by using this kind of logic, I tell them that you must have deserted a child in the past life, and that the child has become an orphan child, and so therefore Maharshi Parashara hints at that by saying you will take care of an adopted child. So it's actually a suggestion. So what you gave up there in the past life, he is asking you to reverse it by taking up someone else's child. So you will find that astrology not only proves karma, but it also lets you correct it. So I've been telling all these 30 years that astrology is never meant to be used only for predictions. It is to be mainly used for corrections. For example, in Guru Dasha Rahu Bhukti, Maharshi Parashara says if Rahu is afflicted by malefics, and especially placed in bad houses like 6, 8 and 12, or the sun is there, or Ketu, sun is there along with it, causing an eclipse. If all this happens in the horoscope, Maharshi Parashara says the person will go through what is called dizziness. It is a full output of Vata type of problem. Dizziness comes usually out of intoxication, and Rahu represents dizziness, intoxication and dizziness. So if you have drugs, you feel dizzy, drinks dizzy, and even cigarettes dizzy. Everything connected to Rahu will make you dizzy. Whenever I consult for people having Guru Dasha, Rahu Antardasha, where Rahu is afflicted, I tell them this and they'll say, oh my God, I can't believe this, I'm going through this and doctors are not able to find out. And why vertigo? If you Google, you will find there are 40 reasons. So you ask any doctor in the world, they will never be able to find out from where it starts, because they themselves will have to agree that there are 40 reasons and they can't find out where it is, because Rahu is so difficult to find. The reason why they are not able to find is because Rahu diseases are coming from past lives. Rahu is about deception, cheating, and fear and all that, and that got represented by the symbol snake. And so in India, people thought Rahu actually means a snake, but instead there were many things for which Indian astrologers used the symbol, the snake symbol, just to represent what Rahu means. Time and again, whenever Jupiter Dasha and Rahu Antardasha happens, and if Rahu is subject to these afflictions by natural malefics, every human being in this world will go through certain kinds of problems. There will be office problems, there will be health problems, and because of health problems they can't go to office properly, they can't walk properly. In some cases there is epilepsy. Actually, whatever predictions are there in astrology, it is predictable because you have already done something connected to that in the past life. Now we are coming to a conclusion. So we have karma separately existing, and astrology becomes a tool to look into karma. And once you study your horoscope, you get to know what's most likely to happen, and when it happens, karma gets proven. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.